Make way for Jason Garrett, former head coach, Football Night in America analyst, joining us on the program. Did you care if you were coaching inside or outside?
Oh, good question. When I was coaching in Dallas for all those years, AT&T Stadium's a pretty good place to play. I think the biggest thing, I love what Matthew Stafford said the other day after the game. You want to instill a mentality in everybody that, hey, anytime, anywhere, home away moon parking lot is what we used to say. And, just go play. Certainly there's an advantage to playing at home in your place in the friendly confines, though.
Yeah, I know we get caught up in the old school, the elements and the cold, and you can see the breath, and there's snow and rain. And it feels like the NFL is trying to move away from that to make it, and it almost feels like every game might look the same, the aesthetics of it, because controlled environment. Can you see the NFL trying to shift towards that?
Maybe a little bit, but I know just being in TV the last few years, people love the images of these snow games, though, don't they? When the snow's coming down and they're doing snow angels and, they do those slow-mos coming in and out of commercials and you see the snowflakes. I mean, it's pretty magical. And I certainly hope we don't lose that. I think so much of this stuff is about suites and money and
Yeah.
Super Bowls and all of that. So I think that's why that's driving these decisions on the league level, on the team level, and even probably in the city level. You think about Chicago. It makes me sick to think that Chicago is not going to be playing at Soldier Field outside at some point. That's just a magical place. But these decisions are certainly going in that direction. There's no doubt about it.
Okay, but you have to, if you're Buffalo and you're Sean McDermott, like you're getting guys, they have to embrace what Buffalo is all about.
No doubt.
Chicago, you've had to embrace that. Certain stadiums, certain environments where you're bringing in guys, but not everybody is growing up in a cold weather climate and they're going to Buffalo. You got guys who could have been in Florida or California or Texas. So how difficult is it as a coach that you have to get your players to adapt to this environment?
I think it's a real thing, and you said it. I mean, those states you're talking about, there's a lot of amazing football being played, excuse me, in the South, and guys who grow up in the South and play in Texas and Florida, and then they go to school in the South. I mean, these are new experiences for them. We've had receivers through the years that just look in the look in their eye leading up to the game. It's like, oh God, this is going to be a disaster. So again, you're trying to train them. You certainly want guys who are mentally tough that can play anywhere, but it can certainly be an advantage to you, embracing the cold. Or if you're one of those teams, if you can get your team to think that way, it can certainly help you.
Worst environment conditions that you coached or played in?
We played, I think it was a Sunday night game or a Monday night game in Chicago when I was in Dallas. And I just can't tell you how cold it was. I mean, it was ridiculous. And again, you're trying to instill in everybody, hey, we can go play anywhere. But I saw the looks on our guys' faces early on. I'm like, this better go well early because, it just was so damn cold. You couldn't move. Nobody wants to tackle. It was freezing. I don't know what the number was, but it was pretty damn cold.
And then you got Matt LaFleur, the Green Bay head coach. Does he not wear a hat because he wants to make sure you notice his hair, or is he trying to be a tough guy?
Yeah, well, it's the same thing with the guys with sleeves. I mean, hey, we're not wearing sleeves. I'm like, all right, that's fine. It's good. I can see your arms. You're kind of trying to make a statement here, but the goal is to play well for 3 hours. So you better get the right gear on. I used to tell our coaches, don't be the guy who looks like the Michelin Man. I said, no one layers up more than I do. I got more stuff on, but the outer shell is going to make me look like, okay, this is kind of a normal day. There's nothing worse for a player than to see a coach who's he can't even move because he's got the big jackets on and his face is red. I mean, that's instilling something in your player. So the look for the coach definitely matters.
Talking to Jason Garrett. Tune in Saturday night, 7:30 Eastern on Peacock. Jason and the Football Night in America crew get ready. The Ravens and the Packers. That'll be exclusively on Peacock. And then Niners and the Bears Sunday Night Football. I'm trying to figure out how the Niners did this, Jace. Like, how are they 11-4, given everything that's happened to this team this season?
Yeah, it's amazing, and the obvious thing, it's a testament to Kyle Shanahan and his staff. Those guys able to just overcome it. I think the other part for me always with injuries is how you build the team, and if you're fortunate enough to have injuries where you have some depth, and guys have certainly stepped up there and emerged, but for them to be where they are and playing as well as they are, it's been amazing. And I think Kyle certainly instills that mentality. One guy that can't be overlooked in this whole thing, to me, is just the quarterback play when Mac Jones steps in and now Brock Purdy comes back. Their quarterback play has not dipped at all. Brock is playing at such a high level, but to have Mac be a guy who could kind of hold the fort there when he was out, it really, really impressive. Hats off to Kyle Shanahan. He's done a great job.
And I thought that Phillip Rivers has played pretty well. Like, let's take his age out of this because it feels like we're grading him on a curve. But if I just remove that and just say it's Phillip Rivers out there, the intelligence that he has to be able to get away with not having an arm is pretty remarkable. You study quarterbacks. You were a quarterback. What are you seeing with Phillip Rivers?
Well, I love him on so many different levels. I mean, just his competitiveness, his love for the game, his passion for the game is off the charts, and it's been that way forever. So for me, that's where it starts. But he is so smart, and these guys, when they've taken so many snaps, they just see things happen before they do, and that allows them to be such quick thinkers, quick decision makers, and they seem to be right all the time. And he made so many good throws over the last couple of weeks where he just anticipates it. And that, oh, this guy's coming. The ball's going there. It's out of my hand. And, he's defying all the odds because he can't drive the ball, obviously, like he used to. But, watch that game last night. I mean, he made some big time throws down the field. And, what a tribute to him. And I just love the look of him, too. I got such a kick out of the whole press conference a couple of weeks ago when they asked him how much he weighed. And, go back and look at earlier Phillip Rivers and him now. But still, like you said, he's driving the ball down the field, making big time throws. The guy's an inspiration to me. I love him.
You did a project with NFL Films where you're evaluating quarterbacks. So you talked to Troy, Steve Young, Warren Moon, Phil Simms, Kurt Warner, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, Matthew Stafford, Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, Brock Purdy, Jordan Love. What was the one was there a common thread with all of these quarterbacks?
Well, it was a project that we've been thinking about for a while. And last year we did something on the evolution of the throwing motion. 50 years ago, Joe Namath was the best passer. I mean, it was just this beautiful motion that he had. And I got in a conversation with Aaron Rodgers a couple of years ago, and I asked him, I said, hey, you're as good a passer as there's ever been. Give me a thought on throwing. And he starts describing the motion. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I mean, it was just from out of the blue. I used to have this Namath throwing sequence on my wall when I was growing up. And it was like,
wait, how did you not understand this, having been a coach and a quarterback?
Well, he just starts talking about stuff I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, I like to jump onto my left leg and I like to get all my way to the inside of my left calf. I'm like, what is that? Nobody talks about that. And he always has a different spin on stuff, but we did a deep dive into how throwing has changed. And it was a really fun project. We talked to all the guys, and there's a lot of amazing coaches working with players, particularly young players now, about throwing, but I thought it was better to go to the primary source. So we talked to Rodgers and Aikman and Prescott and Brees and all these guys about the motion and how it's changed. And then that evolved into the misevaluation of quarterbacks. The project this year was a two-part series with NFL Films where, hey, this is the most evaluated position. It's the most important position, but it's also the most misevaluated position, and why? So I talked to all these guys, and we came up with 10 criteria for when you're trying to evaluate a quarterback. These are the most important things in order. And it was so much fun to hear these guys. I mean, 7, 8, 9 Hall of Fame quarterbacks talking about this. And, talking about Phillip Rivers, the first one that we came up with was passion for the game. I mean, if you don't love football, I mean, really love it. Not love the idea of it. Hey, I'm a starting quarterback in the NFL, but love it and everything that comes with it. You can't have success. And we went on and we went, passion for football, mental and physical toughness, and then who you are, your temperament, your drive to be great, your leadership. And then it was football intelligence, football instincts. And then we got to the stuff that everybody thinks about. Accuracy was the first physical trait. And then it was arm talent and playmaking ability. And the last one, and it's the reason why I think we miss a lot, was the physical tools, what the guy looks like, how big his hands are, all of that stuff that sometimes causes people to get enamored with the guy at the combine. And so to hear these guys talk about all these things, these guys who have done it at the highest level, it was so much fun for me. And if you get a chance to take a peek at it, you'll learn a lot about football.
Yeah, but why do we miss?
We miss because we start with number 10. Number 10 is the physical tools.
Okay.
The guy walks into the room, and it's really derived from a comment my dad made to me. I had just finished playing, and I became the quarterback coach with the Dolphins. And my dad had been a coach and a scout forever. And we're on the phone as I was going to Indianapolis to the combine. And he said, you're going to fall in love with someone by the way he looks when he walks into the room and how he throws. Remember, there's a lot more to playing quarterback than just that. And he said, think about all the great guys you've been around and what qualities they had, and go back to that. And I always use Troy Aikman as the example because, he and I played together for 8 years, and he is the prototype. He walks in the room, it's like, that's what a quarterback looks like. His hands wrap around the ball. He can throw it like nobody. But I'll go to my grave saying what made Troy Aikman great was his mental toughness, his physical toughness, his passion for the game, his heart. To the day I die. And I can give you countless examples of what that was. And then you add all this great physical ability on top of it. And that's why he gets the gold jacket the day he retires.
Yeah, I have said for a long, long time, I want to know if you love football. Like, do you want to be great? Like, I have to know that part of it. It's not, hey, I can throw the ball 60 yards. I want to know, do you truly love this game? Because this game is going to rough you up. The highs are unbelievable, the lows, and then you got to get yourself back up. And this is where I think we miss that you do fall in love. And you go, man, that guy looks like an NFL quarterback. I want a guy who's going to nerd out and go, hey, let's go over that defense we're going to face again. Or, I don't know it all. I want to know it all. Like, I want to be a sponge. Like, all of those things, that's what you're trying to find. And
and think about all the great ones, the best ones in all sports. Was Jordan so much better than everybody else physically? I mean, he was incredible physically, don't get me wrong. But was he so much better? Tiger Woods, so much better. Jack Nicklaus, so much better. Federer, so much better. It's the other stuff that separates the greatest guys. And, the question is, how do you evaluate it? And, I used to have my favorite combine question. I used to ask every player, particularly quarterbacks. I said, say the kid came from Ohio State. Hey, there's 100 guys at Ohio State. We're going to rank you guys 1 through 100 based on one criteria, how much you love football. 1 loves it the most, 100 loves it the least. And I said, we're going to ask your teammates, your coaches, and every staff member at Ohio State to rank you 1 through 100 and provide the evidence of the ranking. And invariably, Dan, the guy would say, oh, I'd be number 1. I love ball. It's just a feeling inside of me, all that. I'm like, that's not the question. The question is, we're asking the people around you to rank you and provide the evidence. It's not a feeling. Love is an action, right? So do you really love it, or do you love the idea of it? And so the best ones I've been around, they love it, and there's evidence all over the place in their lives.
Great stuff. Merry Christmas to you and the family, and look forward to the NFL Films special there with all of those great quarterbacks. Also, you guys with Football Night in America, Ravens, Packers, also Sunday Night Football, Bears, and the 49ers. Thank you again, Jace. Great stuff.
Thanks, Dan. Merry Christmas, bud. Take care.
Jason Garrett, former Cowboys coach, also a former quarterback as well.